Yo guys, I've got a spark which I'm going to use to ignite the fire for a brand new top 10 video which shall function as the third video of Skylanders Week 2. The moment this goes live, I'll be in a movie theatre watching the new Super Mario Bros. Movie. I have my ticket prepaid for and everything, so the hype is real. But in the meantime, for this video, I felt like it would be fun to take a look back at a video I made almost 3 years ago. We're talking about the top 10 coolest Skylanders Lightcore effects. As this video is pretty outdated, I've remastered it. The only thing that remains from the original video is the audio, which I recorded when I was sick for some stupid reason, and you can hear me constantly snuffling throughout the entire thing. Luckily, everything outside of that original audio has been rehauled. I've made new visual assets to use for the edit, and I've added music into the background which you can hear already. Since I made that original video, many things have changed on the channel. Firstly, there is a brand new channel intro, which shall be unique for the first time in this video. With my old intro, I would occasionally mute the audio and allow the Skylanders music currently playing in the background to play over the visuals instead. Today, I'm going to be doing the same trick with a brand new intro, so for the first time since I introduced this brand new intro, I'll allow the current music in the background to continue as the visuals for the brand new intro at hand simply just play over the top of it. Besides from the new intro, I've also conducted 2 Lightcore brightness locks. You heard that right, 2. One for SWAT Force, the other for Giants. In fact, you're watching the gameplay from a Skylanders Giants Lightcore brightness lock as I speak. These locks obviously tie back into the main theme behind this video, as they're all to do with Lightcore Skylanders. It's fascinating looking back at the Skylanders Giants development, as Paul Ritchie III even says so himself.
With no batteries at all, as you move these toys near the portal, they begin to glow.
Yeah, and we saw that in the presentation. So you took the toy, placed it on the portal, and as it approached the portal, the eyes lit up.
Yeah, the eyes and the weapon.
And so there's no battery in the toy?
Nope. It's all coming from the portal of power magically. No modifications. Your old portal of power works just fine. And it's so fun to take this guy or one of the other characters that have this lighting technology and just sort of put them close to the portal and then take them away with them close. I wish I could say it was just like a really sophisticated thing, but it's just like, light is good.
And with that sort of psychology being put behind the toys is what allowed the Lightcore gimmick to be implemented so perfectly into Giants. I look back to this interview from over 10 years ago because it's nostalgic, which is the second theme behind this video. That's why I've kept a grand majority of the original audio intact and just rehauled the visuals of the video, so I could keep the nostalgia of this video alive whilst also improving upon it. It's effectively an amalgamation of how I've grown as a content creator, as I'm bringing together what I used to make with what I make now. All the rambling aside, what exactly is this list based upon? Well, it's based around the Lightcore effects of the toys themselves. Because there are multiple toys with Lightcore effects, those being Giants, Lightcores and Battle Pieces, anything with any sort of Lightcore effect qualifies for this list. The actual placements are based on how good the Lightcore effect itself is, the creativity and design which went into making that toy light up so the effect could symbolise something significant about the toy itself. The better and more creative this design, as well as the strength of the actual Lightcore effect, will result in higher rankings of the specific Lightcore effect on the top 10 countdown. Any other factors, such as how much I actually like the in-game character or item, are completely irrelevant. We're solely looking at the toy and the effectiveness of its Lightcore effect. So what I'll be doing right now is turning the lights off. Ah, that's much better. Now we'll be able to see the Lightcore effects at their best. Now with that having been said and done, I've already talked about what we'll be doing for the intro, so let's get into it already. For number 10, I was struggling to choose whether I should go with Jetvac or Shroom Boom, but in the end I decided to go with Shroom Boom purely because no matter whether Jetvac is a Lightcore or not, it's still Jetvac. And apart from that, there's also the fact that Jetvac's Lightcore effects are both blue, so for differentiating colours on Shroom Boom's Lightcore makes his double LED effect more effective in terms of a colour palette because they're far more contrasting. But second of all, Jetpack's Lightcore effects are placed in very generic locations, with it being based around his weapon and his little air elemental badge. Shroomboom, on the other hand, has a Lightcore effect on his eye and on his weapon, so that brings more meaning to his weaponry, and it really does highlight it in-game, as you get to see his eye and his weaponry highlighted due to the LED effect of the Lightcore being translated very well into the game. So overall, I really like the fact that this has two different parts that light up, and the fact that the colours utilised really contrast each other and make for a really bright glow. So you combine that really bright glow with a superior Shroomboom mold when based to his very first one, or when compared against that one, so to say, you have yourself a really awesome Lightcore figurine. However, as I said before, Lightcore, adding a Lightcore effect to a weapon is pretty generic, therefore that 50% of Shroomboom's Lightcore effect is weak and worthy of really only getting the number 10 spot and nowhere lower on the list. At number 9 we have the Lightcore Smoulderdash. Now the main flaw I have with this Lightcore is that the effect itself isn't all that bright, and I have bought multiple Lightcore Smolderdashes in my life and none of them have been bright in this one, so the actual effect itself not being very bright is quite disappointing, and I think that's due to the thick plastic that covers it, particularly for head mold, and then for actual flames part just having a lot of texture into it. So because of that, even a stronger LED would struggle to bleach through the plastic, so to say. But regardless, the main reason why I love this Lightcore so much is because it adds to Smolderdash's silhouette effect, so it adds a lot to her design. The pose itself is quite lackluster, it's just a T-pose, so I wish they did more with that. But ultimately, a lot of Smolderdash's power comes when she's in the Eclipse mode, and of course during the Eclipse mode her head lights up a whole lot more, so this Lightcore effect just kind of parallels that. So it's really cool to see a Lightcore effect that parallels where Skylander's main powers come from within the game. And again, it's really cool that it adds that silhouette effect. It's just really disappointing that the Lightcore effect itself isn't all that strong. So number 8 we have Warnado. Now what's really cool about Warnado's Lightcore is the location of the effect itself. It makes total sense that his shell lights up, it adds a lot to his figurine design and really makes him stand out once you place him on the portal. The Lightcore effect itself is pretty good, definitely could be stronger, and again I think that's due to the thick plastic used. But otherwise, I'm just really glad that they took a key element of Warnado's design, that being how epic his shell is, and made it light up to make it stand out more. So that's what I like about this Lightcore effect in particular, that, and it's also better than the ones preceding it. Next up is the Golden Dragonfire Cannon. Now of course the gold version got onto this list over the silver one because gold is that much cooler of a colour, and the orange Lightcore effect is not only strong and seeps through the eyepiece right here, again adding to that silhouetted feel that's so cool in terms of design, but it's just a really nice LED colour that really does shine bright, so to say. So the Lightcore effect itself is cool, the colouring is definitely cool, and once again it showcases exactly what the Dragonfire Cannon does before you even start utilising it in game, because it creates a huge laser type blast, and that Lightcore effect presents that perfectly. So above all, this is definitely a really awesome Lightcore effect due to the colouring, the location of a Lightcore, and the fact that it symbolises that in-game this cannon produces a huge laser to be reckoned with, so it just makes the battle piece feel more powerful and makes you just want to utilise it even more due to the fact that this Lightcore effect presents it as very powerful indeed. Next up we have Thumpback, not my favourite Giant's design, in fact he's actually my least favourite Giant, but credit where credit is due, he's far more creative than the Giants in terms of the placement of his Lightcore effect, because his Lightcore appears on his barnacles on both arms, mind you. Unfortunately these Lightcore effects aren't very powerful, as you can see on camera, but it's just so much more of a unique placement in comparison to the other Giants that only really light up in their torsos and in their eyes. So seeing this creativity explored with this Lightcore effect is really cool to see, and it just gives this figurine a really unique fresh feeling, even if the design itself isn't all that great. So that's ultimately what bumps this character down a few pegs. The very fact that the rest of the design really does not measure up to how awesome that Lightcore effect is, mind you. And there's also the fact that the Lightcore effect is pretty weak. That doesn't help out this slot on the list either. Next up comes both the Lightcore effects from the Crusher figurines. Now personally I prefer the Lightcore effect of the regular Crusher because, as you can tell from the granite version here, both his LEDs are blue, whereas with the regular Crusher he has a mix of colours between the blue and the green, creating a really nice contrast, and it just makes the Lightcore effect even more eye-pleasing because you get to see the contrast in colours right next to one another. It's the same reason why Shroom Boom's Lightcore stood out to me. And what I also love about this is the fact that his goggles light up, which first of all is one of the coolest parts about his design, the fact that he's wearing these really cool high-tech type goggles. So seeing those light up is awesome, and it once again conveys the meaning that his goggles are a key element to his gameplay. The fact that he turns enemies to stone in-game, and the Lightcore effect signifies that before you've even started playing as a character. So above all, it's the Lightcore effect that adds so much coolness to this design. Like, credit where credit is due with Crusher. Once again, he might not be my favourite giant, but it certainly has an awesome design, and the Lightcore effects just add to that awesome design by making the goggles look even more cooler when they light up, and just making the crystals look very satisfying as well. At number 4 we have the Magna Forge. Now what I really love about this particular Lightcore effect is its placement within the plastic, because of course the plastic is kind of like pouring out just like Magna would in real life, mind you. So the utilization of physics here is really cool to see, and it just means that whilst the LED is bleaching through the plastic, it really gives this glow type feeling like there's actual magma being poured out. So the fact that you combine this Lightcore effect with darkness, it just looks so damn cool and glow based, and of course has that realism to it, is what makes this Lightcore effect just so visually pleasing to the eyes, mind you. And I also love the fact that it highlights the magma that's being poured down from the pot directly, because there's two different plastics used, one that's far more thick and layered on, and then the backwards plastic that's much less so, to create a very satisfying glow upwards that's kind of masked from the front as lava would be, mind you. So yes, it just looks really cool when you combine the very strong Lightcore effect with the plastics used, and I think that this is obviously the best battle pack piece that utilises the Lightcore effect to its advantage, mind you. Kicking off our top 3 is going to be Countdown. Now what I really love about this Lightcore effect is the fact that it takes advantage of a fuse, which of course would glow in real life because it's a bomb, so it represents the fact that a fuse would light on fire, and the glow truly does look like that. Not to mention it stands out because it's lit up in the dark, therefore that gives more attention to Countdown's face, and the fact that that is where the main personality and gameplay from the character comes from. So the fact that this Lightcore effect just highlights what makes Countdown such an awesome character is really great to see. And the LED itself is very strong. It has a really nice colour to it, which again is visually attractive, same as the Magna Forge. And this lighting up of the fuse just gives Countdown more character, and I love it for that. Unfortunately, it would seem as though my legendary Lightcore Grim Creeper is a bit of a bum LED, but hey, that doesn't stop Grim Creeper's spot from number 2 being very earned, mind you. Because as you can tell from my regular Lightcore Grim Creeper, his LED is nothing wrong with it, and it is indeed as bright as it should be, so that's awesome to see. And on top of that, this Lightcore effect once again conveys a lot of meaning, because it highlights the importance of Grim Creeper's inner soul, so to say, because of course he leaves his outer body in order to create this ghost spirit that he can of course deattach and then reattach itself to in order to defeat enemies from all angles, mind you. So that kind of showcases his gameplay quite well, but it just highlights the importance of his mind, his soul, and it just emphasises a lot of character, more importantly than anything else, and that just makes this Lightcore effect really symbolic and well chosen. More importantly, it shows that the designers of this character really cared about putting the Lightcore in a appropriate place to create meaning and give the character more life to it. Better yet is the fact that this is easily the superior Grim Creeper pose, with his arms backwards, his scythe kind of to his left as he's preparing to charge at his enemies. It just, once again, combined with the Lightcore effect, gives the character so much life to it, and it's an amazing effect to look at, especially when the world around you is darkened. Coming in at number 1 without a shadow of a doubt is Lightcore Prison Break. He's known as a poster child for all of the other Lightcore effects, since he's a perfect example of a Lightcore effect done right. First of all, look at just how strong that LED is. It lights up the entire room, so that makes the Lightcore effect right out of the bat really strong and really visually attractive, especially when it's dark out. It's really going to attract your eye, mind you. And above all, it's also really great at showcasing what Prison Break's capabilities are in game, because LEDs create the illusion of lasers, and that's exactly what Prison Break has up his arsenal to utilize to absolutely whoop the asses of his enemies, so to say. So once again, the LED being used to present Prison Break is a laser heavy type character in the game and make you want to play as him even more, because the LEDs really present him as a powerful unit for your team. It's ultimately what makes Prison Break such a satisfying Lightcore effect, and not to mention this Lightcore was so good that the developers gave him 2 entire chase variants, even one coated in gold, and you know you're an awesome Skylander when you're coated in gold. I cannot, in good conscience, end off this video without first thanking all of my incredible channel members whose continued support help make these videos possible. Without them, these videos would be near impossible to make, so from the bottom of my heart, I truly appreciate every last one of them. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, there are plenty of options on screen now to explore, and please consider subscribing to keep up to date with all my content. On that note, this video is coming to an end, so thank you so much as always for watching. Until the next video arises, peace!